Let me just wait until this live pops up so I can see it. All right, great. What's going on, everybody? I want to make this short video. Happy Super Bowl day. You know, Super Bowl is a thing. Lots of people pay attention. There's a few things I want to cover in this video that we should pay attention to. So the first thing is to remember that our attention is so important. So if you're always looking at a screen, if you're constantly reading negative material, if you're constantly caught in the news, in Buddhism, they refer to this as mental nutriments. And so what's required is your attention to participate in certain things. And so this video is going to be a little bit dark. A lot of people know this stuff, and not everybody does, but a lot of people do. And I'm just going to cover some of the basics and some solutions. And the solution that I love was from David Lone Bear Senepass, who is a Mi'kmaq Native American elder. And when he would speak, and I was kind of going around with him and doing talks and learning, he would always say, you know, if you guys were as passionate about the Super Bowl as you if you were as passionate about peace as you are about the Super Bowl, we would have it. Meaning that everybody gives so much attention. It's viewed by millions and millions of people. Everybody's losing their marbles in the stands and for their team and things like that. Well, what if all of that energy was directed toward world peace? He's like, you would have it. And it makes sense, don't you think? And so, you know, today, one of the things I'd like for you to consider if you're watching this is maybe you can get a friend or a few friends, and rather than watching the Super Bowl, do something else, or even do a meditation, a guided meditation on world peace, you know, directing your attention, energy, and focus, because the halftime show is usually a satanic ritual. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Not a lot of people want to know that or believe that, but unfortunately, it's true. I could prove it to you in many different ways, but I'm only going to show you a few things so that you kind of know what I am talking about here. So let me, why does this do this to me? Let me share my screen browser. Okay, cool. Optimize for video clip. Here we go. Okay, so this is just some really quick thing. That's me talking. Let's get rid of that screen. It pops up automatically. Okay, get out of here. All right, so what do we got here? Okay, so the Weeknd's going to be performing. Now, I'm not going to play this video. If you go to the Weeknd too late and you watch this video, it is incredibly disturbing. You know, so, you know, if you want to watch it, you can, but it's super disturbing. You'll see for yourself. Very, very awful. So now here's another one. We're going to talk about the CERN tunnel. Now, when you kind of know that this exists, and again, the reason why I bring this up is because we as human beings have choice. We are infinitely powerful. And when we are deceived, we are getting that power taken away through our attention, through fear and through manipulation. And that is all that these people and these groups have, is fear, manipulation, and propaganda. If we know the truth, then we can set ourselves free. The problem is most people are good people. We're compassionate, and our brain could not even wrap around the fact that there are evil people out there doing this stuff on purpose. And unfortunately, that's the truth that we need to reconcile so we can make a different choice. Okay, so this is the CERN tunnel. I'm just going to play a little bit, but when they did this ritual here, you know, it's, again, when you know it's what's going on, it's super satanic. So we'll just let you watch a little bit, but this is the CERN tunnel here going on. Super, super weird. Where's that little flying baby thing? Super strange. If people break down this video in detail, and you could say, you know, you could say it's just art, but when you go through all of these videos over and over again, you realize it's not just art. And then you look into the people and then you're like, oh my goodness, like what the hell is going on here? So there's that weird baby thing. So this, oh yeah, so super weird. We'll keep going. You know, we've got the little baby thing flying around. Then you got these little demon things. Then you got a goat. Then we're going to go later why goat is the symbol of Satanism, which I just learned, which is super fascinating. So this isn't normal. Obviously, it's not normal stuff. Then you got more weirdness. So it's just to say that, you know, these people do weird satanic ceremonies, and they are public. Now let's go to the London Games ceremony. So again, another ritual. They do what's called predictive programming. So they show you in advance. So how this works is we must consent. Now, what I've been learning is about maritime and admiralty law and law of the land, common land, which common law, which I wish I learned a long time ago, and I invite you guys to check out. But everything's done by our consent. But the problem is they deceive us into consent. We don't even know we're consenting. And there are two languages. We have our normal English. We think it means something. And then they have this deceptive non-language, which I'm going to kind of go into. Again, I'm just kind of learning about it, but it's very, very important because you think it's one thing and it's a total different thing. And I remember going through law and security, and you know, my professors would kind of say, yeah, you can get yourself out of tickets, this and that, but I wouldn't recommend you do. And I learned about the birth certificate being a shipping container receipt and like deceptive language. And like you go into court and you think it means one thing, but it means like another thing. Like in the Black's Law Dictionary, a person equals monster. Like what? Like, what do you mean? So there's actually, they have their own society and their own dang language. And so that's why it's so deceptive. It's so clever. But just like jujitsu, martial arts, anything, if you see it coming, you know what's going on. You are totally cool. You can just avoid that stuff. But if you don't see it coming, if I train jujitsu and you don't know what's going on and we go down to the ground, I will break your arm or choke you out or do whatever, unless you're like super crazy bear strong, like one of my buddies who he's just so dang strong. It's so hard to do anything. But, you know, it's just about that knowledge. And so if you have the same with boxing, right? The more your eyes are open and you understand what they're doing, the more you can defend and you're not being harmed. The same with this stuff. So I know it's kind of weird and frightening and stuff. And again, basics for some people, new stuff for other people. So you don't need to go all down this rabbit hole, but you do need to understand that there are predator humans doing things. And this is what this whole, needle situation is about. The needle is not a good thing. I'm not going to call it by the V word because you get banned and I'm probably going to be deleted anyway, but look into that. It's actually genetic modification. It's gene therapy. Many people are speaking out about this, and you can find it. So just do your own research, try to find credible people to look at their life's work. Look at, if they have years of, doing positive work for humanity when you're trying to discern the truth, and take it all as a grain of salt. But you also can't just be a weekend researcher where you just look at headlines. You got to dive deeper. You got to peel back the layers. And if you do that, you're going to find groups of people who also peel back the layers. So you're going to get a better quality of information. So this is the 2020, was it? No, wait, not 2020, whatever, the London Olympics. And they do this ceremony. They got hospital beds going on, children, all kinds of weird stuff. And I'm not going to play the whole thing, but if you want to go through, watch it. It's super dark. It's super weird. What the hell is going on with these hospital beds? Why is there children in hospital beds? And wait, did these little creatures come out? These things come out and scare the kids. Again, unfortunately, it's a ritual. They do these satanic rituals. If you look at past Super Bowls, there's lots of videos where they kind of look at them in depth, and then you can look at the person, which I'm going to kind of show a little bit here, and you're like, okay, that's some weird stuff going on. Are these this little zombie things coming out to get them yet? It's all just weirdness. Where's that guy? Then there's a big, huge guy that comes out with a needle. What's going on? Okay, don't have the. I thought that I got the needle guy loaded up. I don't have the needle guy loaded up. Dang it! I want to find that London Olympics needle guy. That's a really weird search when I'm doing it. Oh my god, London Olympics. I thought I had it all set up. My bad. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, you're gonna want to go to YouTube on this one. I forget that I kind of I might just skip it. Oh, there it is. Yes, literature. No, this is some weird stuff. This is just weird. Look, dark guy comes out like this monster character. Like, you kidding me? Like, what the hell is that about? Why are they doing this? And then all these goblins at one point come out and scare the kids. Like, you could just say it's art, but what is the deal with this? And I could go on. I could do like a 50-hour video on all the satanic stuff and music videos and ceremonies. It just is what it is. If you don't believe me, do your own research. It is what it is. Unfortunately, it's the truth. You just got to deal with that. That's what my point is getting across here. But you don't need to be afraid. That's how they rule you. You do not need to be afraid. It's some scary crap. This is a little compilation of celebrities saying, I sold my soul to the devil. And why do so many people say that over and over? And here's like one by Bob Dylan, which is just like the way that he phrases it. That's why I brought this one up, because he looks so serious. He's old now, you know what I mean? So why would he do that? So.
Still out here doing these songs, you know, you're still on tour.
I do, but I don't take it for granted.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my hand.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then in the world we can't see.
Okay, so that's another weird one. Don't want to get too dark, right? And then we're getting dark here. And there's Isaac Cappy, who, has, basically died, and he's exposing pedophilia in Hollywood, which is super dark. Unfortunately, it's a real thing. It's a true thing. It's a crappy thing. You just have to have your eyes open. So the more of us with our eyes open, we can figure out solutions. Okay, so you can look at him. And then you got Out of Shadows documentary. Again, this breaks it out really easily. If you watch Out of Shadows, you're going to kind of see that. And we're just going to go real quick here with Lady Gaga and Marina Abramovic around all these different celebrities. So, there's just a few too many coincidences of, just really dark satanic stuff. And then you're like, okay, like what is going on now? Okay. So it's dark. My apologies. But it's okay, because truth and power and the universe and life and all that stuff is so much stronger than this if we get out of fear. And part of this is about the Super Bowl halftime show. The Weeknd, like I showed at the beginning, he's the one doing the act. And if you look at this video, super gross and just terrible. You don't need to look at that. What we need to do is we need to focus our attention on what we want. So now this video right here, yeah, it's 8 minutes. All right, let's just play it, because this is such a good one. And I highly recommend this channel. I just discovered it and I've been binging it, and it's so good because it mixes the law and other weird stuff. So, but very important about how, like, when I was in school, I was like, how were, like, I heard it's all through consent. I'm like, I'm not consenting to this. And like, it's like, yeah, you are. So we have to do the research to get out of our own ignorance and find good research. And so he explains why goat is a symbol of Satan, and very fascinating stuff. Understanding there are two dictionaries. I'm going to play it at 1.25 speed, because that's, I usually, with this stuff, I go slower, but we're going to just play it at 1.25. It's a good video. This is a Justinian banking channel, so highly recommend checking that out. Look it up on YouTube.
Ever wondered why the goat is a symbol of Satan? It's because the word goat, written in as a proper noun in proper English, is capitalized. It means a goat. Those things that walk around with 4 legs. But the word goat, written in all uppercase text, is the same type of letter writing that's found on these tombstones here. It has a different meaning to the goat that we find in the English dictionary. The goat in the legal dictionary, such as Black's Law Dictionary, means the sewer, the channels, the man-made channels of water, the channel of water from land into the sea. And it is through these channels of water where the laws of the sea usurp themselves up into the cities. That's how we've got the law of water, the law of the Holy See, spread across the lands. So it's a strange world. It's a world of, there's two worlds that they coexist in parallel with each other. It's the two trees in the Garden of Eden, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, which is a tree is really a house. It's the house of the debtor, the house of the creditor. And there's two different languages, two different books, two different dictionaries. A dictionary for the words of life, proper English, and a dictionary for the corpus juris, which is the corpus is the containment, but it also means in the Latin dictionaries, it means cadaver, body. It dead. The corpus juris is the jurisdiction of the world of the dead. And that language is found in the legal dictionaries, the all uppercase text, which is really the sign language. And sign is really just sin. The word sign, written in all uppercase text, or the symbolic language of sign, which is the engraved images that are found on the tombstones. The word sign is simply sin with the G, and the G just means the governance of sin. So sign is the governing of sin. And the sign language has its own jurisdictions, its own legal dictionaries. And people sometimes get confused, mistaken about the two different languages. They see the two different languages on a document. And if you don't know the difference between the two of them, you will assume them to be one. And that's where the joinder from the living and the dead. Once you join yourself, you attach yourself to the ledgers of the dead, like these tombstones.
All right, so that's just a little bit there. Super. Oh yeah, let's go into this Justinian stuff, because this is what we're going on. If you ever look at the world and you're like, oh, why is it so fair? Like, why are all these, getting overtaxes, or this is a stupid thing, or why do we have to wear masks? Like, who is giving? Where does this authority come from for you to tell me what to do? I don't have to do this, but it's through this deception. And so one of the big pieces of cognitive dissonance that I'm coming in trying to share this with people is saying, hey, no, there are actually systems in place and people who are doing this on purpose, and they want to manipulate you and deceive you, and you're basically a sheep to them. And they can't wrap their head around this. Going through this stuff, this channel has been super helpful for me, because I'm looking for, how do I have freedom? I've always been looking for that. And so we need to understand this, because when we know, it's rendered null and void, and we are much more powerful than all of this. And I'm going to close that out with this video. It's like we're dolphins, and they've convinced us that we're goldfish, and it's limiting our abilities through the food we eat, through the television we watch, through our belief systems. That's a huge one. And mainly not cooperating. If you think about the power of wolves together and how they operate, or jackals, are species that really do incredible things. When they unite, humanity is like the apex of that understanding. When we work together, all things are possible, extraordinary things, but it has to be up to us. And we also have to grow up and recognize that there is an issue. And this is part of the issue that I see in this, new age spiritual community, which, I definitely a part of, because I want to know the limits of human potential. But at the same time, it's like they're ignoring a lot of other stuff, and there is deception, there is deceit, and we have to recognize that so we can make it null and void, and then move toward empowerment, towards truth. And so it's like, once you realize almost all the food is tainted in all these different ways, and whenever you think you're eating something, it's something else. Once you know that, then you can choose the good food, the healthy choices, and things like that. So it's required that we have that knowledge, and we do have to take time, energy, and attention to work toward that. Also, our livelihood. I saw this a separate video. Someone come up and said, basically, there are two types of people in the world right now. Those who are basically working for Caesar or the corporation to enslave, and those people who want freedom, truth, and harmony, and a natural world. And that's what's going on. If you're just taking a paycheck, and this guy explains in Australia and Canada how the police are just they're a private corporation working for another corporation as enforcement. So that's why they require your consent. It's not like they're out there for the benefit of helping you. No, they're trying to tax and pillage the people. That's, they make you believe it's serve and protect. That's a small bit of it, very, very small bit of it. The other part of it is all this, bringing money into this piracy system. And when you understand it, it's so crazy, wicked. And I'm just wrapping my head around it. So there are much better people like this. Mark Patelik, Tom Barnett's got his head wrapped around it. He's been on the podcast. This channel, Justinian Banking, The World Is Yours. I've been binging that. That's sharing a lot of information. But, common law, the law of the land, they have to go to the higher jurisdiction, but they deceive you into the lower jurisdiction. And that's where all statutes and legislations, which are thousands of them, wear mask is one of them. You can actually opt out of that and get into the higher jurisdiction, as long as you don't get tricked. And that takes knowledge and understanding and work and effort to know, to be able to stand your ground, to get your freedom. And that's what we require here, to opt out and do something else. So let's just go into this Justinian system, because this is all around the world basically. In this one, it talks about how the queen swore the oath, but he talks about this deception that she had, and that's really when things got bad with this system, this pirate system around the world, where they're going. This is where they're going. This is what this group of people is attempting to do, is this one world government with cryptocurrency, with this crypt, right? We're all in this thing, and now it's all fake. It's all fictitious. There's no actual value. I'm going off on a rant here. There's a ton of information in here, and I'm trying to keep this positive, and I promise the ending will be positive. I swear. So, but we need to understand this, because like I said, just like in jiu-jitsu, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to get you. Just like in boxing, if you don't know how to throw a good shot or whatever, I'm going to get you. And then the better you get, you got to kind of disguise it. You know what I mean? The masters of these things, they disguise it. They're playing chess. But the beautiful and wonderful things is that free people are given God-given inalienable life rights. And we just need enough people to wake up, say, no, this is tyranny. How are you doing this? Figure that out. And then we're like, oh my goodness. Okay. Then we can step outside of that and not participate, build something better. But it's required to understand who is trying to enslave you, take away your rights, and why, and what their end goal is. And if you haven't figured that out in 2020, you're not watching this video. You know what I mean? You just are fully out to lunch, have no idea what's going on. Will stick your head in the sand forever. And I saw in this one video, if your head is in the sand, your ass is up in the air, and 2021 is the year of anal swabs. So it is a choice. You know what I mean? It is a choice. You can move into your power and understand, and then find other people, link arms with brotherhood and sisterhood of humanity for good, of building a world of a better place, of truth, of justice, of food, water, shelter, clean food, water, shelter for all people. It starts as an individual, and then we can build it in communities and spread that out, because it's a much better feeling. It's a much better vibration. And that's what we got to hold, is a higher vibration. So although some of this stuff is really dark and scary, like, oh my God, not to get into fear, but get into faith and empowerment, and know that you are more powerful than any of this. You just need to direct your focus, connect with good life affirming qualities, know that you'll be taken care of, and then actually put in the work. So we're just going to finish this, because this is a really great understanding of what's going on here, as far as how we're entrapped in this system. Because again, I went to law and security, and they didn't tell me this. They don't even apparently tell lawyers this. It's the judges that actually know. So really crazy stuff. And it's taken me so long to figure this out, or I avoided it, or I got lost in other tracks, who knows, but very fascinating stuff anyway. Okay, let's finish this out, because it's important.
Well, then you're no longer living. You're attached to the dead. And if you don't know the difference between the proper English, the proper nouns on the document, and if you confuse the dead ledger text, the all uppercase text, as a part of the document, then the man dressed in black that's mourning your death in a courtroom will assume that you have agreed to align yourself with the dead corporations within the jurisdiction of the corpus juris, which is the terms and conditions of dead contracts. You forego your justice. You are just bound by the statutes. The statute is bound by the engraven images. So that's why the goat is always depicted as Satan, because the goat is really in English is just the goat, but in law, the very word G-O-A-T, written in hieroglyphic sign language, is not a goat. It's the sewer. It's the man-made instrument that channels the law of the sea onto the land. It's the usurper, the serpent. And that's its mystical ways of how you can be trapped inside their chambers, the tombs of the dead. It seems all so light-hearted, doesn't it? When you think that these are the people that are dead and you're still living. If you hold any sort of form of licenses, credit cards, passports, you hold anything like that that's written in the dead ledger, symbolic text, the engraved images, those men dressed in black in those courthouses, those tribunals. That's what they call star chamber courts, which are really, the chamber is the tomb. You enter into the tomb. You're in the world of the dead. And that's why they are dressed in black. They are mourning your death. You notice all these graves? They face the morning sky. Strange, eh? Sun comes up there.
All right, so super trippy. Now, one of the things I liked about understanding this was that, I think about the mystical forces that could be going on, like the world that I can't see, when you're talking about all kinds of weird stuff like archons or demons or whatever, I think that's definitely plausible because all kinds of weird stuff's going on here and I don't exactly know it. Obviously I don't know everything. I don't know, but I'm always looking for ways to have freedom and look for world peace. How the heck do we have peace? How do we have sovereignty? And when I look around, we don't have that. And again, 2020 will tell you that for sure. We don't have, this planet is mostly under slavery. So we need to get outside of it. I had somebody reach out and say, oh, well, it's only in your mind and none of that's real. And I was like, maybe for that person that for that world and like you architect your world and if you just ignore it so hard it doesn't exist, maybe. But what I think is more realistic from the studies I've done with Native American people, with my travels all over the world, with what I understand about human trafficking and all this stuff, I think it's more likely that some people don't think that way. Now you can use positive thought and intention and your connection with the universe to get out of any situation. I believe, I don't know, because I don't know everyone. I can only go through my life experience, but I do think that possibility is there for everyone. But I also think that these systems are in place and we need to become aware of them to look at them because it's harming other people. And then it's so funny because I've seen this over this year. People are like, from the beginning in March, I'm sharing about all the information I'm getting, trying to share the truth about certain things. And I've had people, exit out of my life, which has been challenging because I love and appreciate them, good friendships. And then, something happens where their life gets affected. And, all of that stuff doesn't work anymore. And now they're starting to look into it because they lost their job, because somebody they know got harmed, because something happened in their world. And that was the catalyst for them to wake up. Then they pay attention like, oh, you're trying to tell me this the whole time. I was like, yeah, I was. Right. But because we're cozy and we're pacified, we don't want to kind of look at it. So now let's go on to the halftime show. All right. So now, all that's required is our knowledge and participation for something better. This is a interview that I did with Dr. Damien Lafont. He's a physicist. He's a friend of mine. He's epic. And what he wanted to do was, and what he's working on actually before the world went to crap, was using all these stadiums like the Super Bowl to do a group meditation or an intention and try to measure it. We know from the random number generators around the world that we do have a global consciousness, because they start to go the patterns are less sporadic. They harmonize a little bit with these random number generators. You look up the Global Consciousness Institute events. And so he wants to do something where we do a group intention with these big soccer stadiums, something like the Super Bowl. We work on world peace. And just like David Lombert said, he's like, let's focus on world peace, like really intently. Let's focus and energize and harmonize and take an action. So we have this idea and we want to vibrate at a higher level. And when we get into kind of skipping around the laws of the universe, the law of vibration, I forget exactly what it's called, and if you know what this is, put it in the comments. But I believe there's a law that says the lower vibration will harmonize with the higher vibration, or the higher vibration is always superior. And so we can think about that with the way of the world right now. Like if somebody's in fear and low energy or depression or whatever, we're in joy or in peace or in empowerment, we're going to have a higher vibration. That's going to affect them. Same with if you understand anything about war or combat or things like that, or these people that have these nefarious means, if you are in a higher vibration, a higher knowledge, a higher understanding, a higher truth, you're out of their jurisdiction, you are in your own, and you are operating in your own waveform, and you are allowing and setting that signature for other people to do so. And so this is an article that kind of talks about this Chicago experiment. More than 4,000 practitioners of transcendental meditation they're going to meditate on peace in Chicago. And the group say a violent crime dropped 23.6% in the first 4 weeks. And so, this it might not be the most scientific study, but there are other studies like this that show group coherence can have an effect on the physical environment. It affects the individual for sure, you yourself, as the master and creator, but as a group coherence, we have this opportunity. So all of this massive thing to say today on the Super Bowl, when they are most likely going to do a satanic ritual, just happens. It just is what it is. Satanic, anything that seeks to restrict or bind or control. Also, I like Cal Washington. He said anything that tries to usurp the Most High, like natural law. You know what I mean? Like, natural law, freedom of truth, of all the good stuff that is what it is to be human in life, trying to control other things. And if you know about what's going on in the planet, you recognize this and see this. And so what's the solution? Well, during the halftime show, don't watch it. You can watch it later if you want, kind of to look at it if you're curious. But at that time, you could go into a meditation for world peace with other people out there. You could call a few friends and just think about, do a group meditation together. You can send out a prayer, but this group coherence is so important, because the way these rituals work and how they get their power is a lot of your attention, your eyes on it, and that's how they can hypnotize you. Tell lie vision. All of this is programming from years, and they get you right at childhood for this stuff. And I could do again a 10-hour thing on TV, radio, news media, like all of it. That's the stuff for me that what I was most curious about, because I didn't understand how these deceptions worked and wanted to know about the power of the mind, and realized that they would use all these techniques for harm, for debilitating us as a group. And they have all these massive channels to do this. That's why if you're in music or in Hollywood or in acting, and in other things as well, like police and healthcare, I have a friend in the Ontario healthcare, and says that, the highest up in Ontario Health is just this corrupt, evil lady. I don't even know who that is. You can kind of see when you look on TV, all of them. And person in police, and says it can only get so high until you become corruptible. And that just, so that's the deal. So we got at the highest level, these very corrupt people. You could look at Theresa Tam in Canada, who's awful. Fauci, who's awful. You can obviously tell that. Bill Gates is awful. If you haven't figured that out, that's pretty easy to figure out. He's awful, so you figure it out. And then you have all these people, like the workers, that are choosing through being nurses or whatever with good intentions, right? They're saying, now you have to do this. And we're getting this like cognitive things like, oh, but my job, but my house, but my security. This is a soul check. If you are participating in this, you are participating in harming the human race. I know you might have to let go of a lot, but you have to. You have to do it. You know what I mean? There is no two way. There's no excuse. And that's how evil has ruled this planet forever, is saying, oh, I was just following orders. Same with, all the stuff with all the harm that's ever happened in the world. They say, oh, I'm just following orders. Well, stop following orders for a paycheck and be a friggin' human being and have some dignity and courage and faith, and just don't be evil. How about that? Just don't be evil just because you got to pay for your house. Figure it out. You might have to live with less for a bit, but it doesn't excuse you from participating in evil when you know it's evil. That's how that shit works. This stuff cannot work if people stop choosing to participate in evil. It has to be enforced by other people. If you own a shop, if you don't have to tell people to wear masks. You need to stand up, figure this out, grow up, stop participating friggin' harm, and start participating in the dang solutions. And it might be beyond protests. It's just going to be, we need to empower ourselves. We need to connect with good community. And so this is a great opportunity to go towards peace. But for all of you who are, looking at what you do for a livelihood, it might be time to live with less, to figure your stuff out, because, the banking and inflation and all that kind of stuff is around the corner. That's the next thing, right? Because as soon as you don't have anything, you're on the government, government teats, and you have to do what they say. And so we need to figure out the solutions together. The Super Bowl is a great opportunity to do that, to just come into coherence in our peace and our strength, because that will supersede this. And the only way this stuff works, fear and deception. When we have knowledge and understanding, we can overcome this nice and easily. So I think that's it. You know, and even we'll kind of play you out with some chimes about coherence and frequency, and you can feel this. You can feel the truth about this, and there's a reason why with this technology and TV, it's a hypnotic trance, it's a hot hypnotic frequency. This is true tones, and that's why in music they switch it to 440 or 442. Forget which one was the right one. I think 440 is perfect, and 442 is slightly off. They do that to basically discombobulate you because you're an electromagnetic human being. So let's come into peace and coherence. Let's just do a quick meditation now. So if you're listening to this, why not? Taking a deep breath in through your nose. Coming into a space of relaxation. Connecting with spirit, creator, the universe. Thinking about somebody or something you love in your life. Filling every cell, every muscle, every fiber of your being with joy and peace and compassion. Now doubling that feeling of joy and love and power and connection to the universe, to life, to spirit, to your soul, to the soul of the planet and humanity, expanding this energy. Now sending this energy out to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family. Sending this energy out to your community. Sending this energy out to your city. Sending this energy out to your country. Now wishing and praying and intending for peace, harmony, truth, coming to the highest vibrational state possible. Sending this energy back to yourself, connecting you with spirit, creator, and the highest good for all sentient life here on Earth, and all life in all its forms on the planet. Remember that you are the power. You are the thing. You're your own savior. You're your own power. You've got this. And when you can be that and you can embody that, then you're going to attract other people to that scenario. And that's what we need. So today and every day moving forward, do your best to connect with spirit, your higher self, to move from fear to faith and bravery and courage and understanding, knowing that you are more powerful than any of this deception. And that if you can intend and you can align yourself with all of the good principles, that you will be, you will expand, you will grow, you will evolve in a natural and beautiful way. And now is the time for all of us to wake up, to participate in what we want. And if you are one of those people who are participating, I don't care what it is, I don't care what your job is, nurse, cop, and you thought it was going to be something good and it's not, do not compromise your soul. You will face the consequences for that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but it makes common sense. If you are breaking your integrity and causing harm because you're following orders, you are a part of that. And that's what is required to enslave the rest of humanity. So do not participate in that. Really get clear on your vocation. You'll be okay. And you won't sell your soul. So that's worth more than any dollar amount. And so, yeah, that's it. So we got this. Big love to you. Wishing you all the best. Have an amazing day. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.